This week on Counting Duggars, Jill Duggar posts a cryptic comment on Instagram, plus why Joanna Duggar is unusually absent from social media. All that and so much more on this week's Counting Duggars. Hey guys, I'm Joe Drake. Welcome back to Counting Duggars. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Sophia Valinsky. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good.
Are you catching up with the Duggars?
Of course. Every day I'm catching up with the Duggars.
Every day the fans help us. So we have to thank you guys for helping us put the show on each week because as I was saying to Sophia before we started recording, sometimes it's a little bit of a lighter news week with Duggars than others. But the Duggar fans really know how to keep us invested because people are chatting on Reddit, they're chatting on comment boards and the blogs. So there's always something to talk about. And this week, Jill Duggar left a comment on Instagram that had people talking, right, Sophia?
Just one little comment that somebody happened to find, yeah.
Well, see, that's what happens. And, you know, like a Duggar, or if you're a famous reality star or celebrity, you can write one word on Instagram and it will become a news story because there's a lot of like hidden messages that the fans can dissect from that, right?
Completely.
So this one in particular, we're talking a lot about the Olympics going on right now. And of course, everything going on with Simone Biles, who is incredible, who we both support. And Jill Dillard came out and supported Simone as well, but here's exactly what went down. Somebody wrote this new comment thread here for everyone who was abused as a kid and who has won 6 or more Olympic medals. I will listen to your criticism of Simone. To which Jill commented, "Amen!" ! With a heart. So obviously fans were aware that she's supporting Simone Biles, but she's also acknowledging the abuse.
Totally.
Which was quite cryptic, right, Sophia?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you would see the comment and like just like that one word, and then there's so much more to it. Absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, of course, there's everything that's going on with Josh Duggar and his child pornography charges. Of course, in the past, there have been abuse allegations and charges as well. But anytime something like this comes out, it's pretty interesting because again, everyone's supporting Simone Biles for taking a step back from mental health, but the conversation about Larry Nassar and all of the Olympians and other gymnasts that were abused by that monster are coming sort of back up. So these two stories seem to have been linked by, again, just one word on a social media comment.
Totally. It's like context within like, yeah, there's a lot to it.
I'm actually surprised because we've discussed on the show before that Jill is very much sort of the rebel of the family. Surprised we didn't get a more in-depth comment. Maybe we will. So all the fans, please keep a lookout for us so we can discuss next week, because something tells me as the Josh Duggar trial continues and depending on how he's charged and what happens, people like Jill and Derick, I bet will speak out.
I think so too.
Well, speaking of social media, fans again are eagle-eyed and have been curious as to why Joanna Duggar has been unusually absent from social media. Now, apparently she's only been gone for 2 weeks. I don't know, what do you make of this story, Sophia?
I feel like with 2 weeks, well, I know that reading some of the stuff that fans said, 2 weeks is rare for her. So I guess if you look at it that way, I think on one hand, it's funny that you're caught if you post and you're caught if you don't post. But right. I mean, I've definitely, I think, gone 2 weeks. Doesn't mean she's not looking, but the fact that she's not liking stuff is kind of interesting.
Well, at first when I read it, I'm like, that doesn't seem like a long time, but with as addicted as we all are to our phones, I guess nowadays, 14 whole days of no actual social media posting, commenting, interaction is a lot. But my second thought was good for her because everyone needs a social media detox. And even some of the fans were sharing their theories about that. I actually just had a friend that did it, and he sort of went back on Instagram and started posting a lot and was like, oh, I'm back after a few weeks hiatus. And I'm like, oh no, like we need that for our mental health. Like sometimes putting the phone down and not tweeting and not sharing every photo on Instagram is necessary nowadays.
Absolutely. And I feel like even more so for people whose life is, you know, being broadcast constantly from a young age, like on a TV show, and then her career is very social media based. So I'm sure it feels really good to whatever she's doing it for.
Definitely. I mean, even last night when I was like in bed trying to go to sleep, I'm like on my phone, and I like literally had to tell myself, I'm like, put the phone down. I had a good book that I'm reading right now that I love. I'm like, put the phone down, pick up the book, and like lull, like you know how to fall asleep. Like this scrolling through Instagram isn't gonna do it, you know?
Definitely. It's so hard though. I'm guilty every day.
I mean, we all need a support group. Another fan theory though, Sophia, I'm not sure if you saw, is people were like, oh, she's pregnant with baby number 3, which like, I mean, she could be, but why would she want to, how does that incorporate or like connect with the social media hiatus? You know?
I don't know. I feel like that's a jump or a lot. I mean, it's not, I guess, not a jump if you're a Duggar. Like she definitely could be pregnant.
No, yeah, right. She definitely could be pregnant, but I don't know how that would like correlate with
totally.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We shall see though, because as always, fans are like, I saw a baby bump. Like there's always a baby bump rumor with the Duggars.
Always a baby bump.
All right, let's move on to the Duggar social post of the week. And this week we've got to give it to Jinger Duggar, who had a bit of a hair transformation. She kind of got, I mean, Sophia, you have long hair. How many inches did she cut off?
Oh, it looked like, I think the thing with inches, it's always more than you think it is too. It had to have been like, the number that comes to mind is 7, but.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I have long hair for a guy, but like when it's down here for a girl, like, when you get it cut to where she had like almost her shoulder right now, that's a transformation. Like for women to sort of do that, it's a big deal, kind of.
Oh, for sure, especially when your hair's gotten that long. You've obviously put in work to do that, and I'm sure, like, I can't imagine. I know when I've chopped my hair before, it feels so different. So I wonder, I guess like those women generally have their long hair too. So
I think it looks gorgeous.
Me too.
I love sort of that blunt cut. It's not like totally like a 1920s bob, but it's definitely like at a healthy length at the shoulder. It actually looks like she got some color done too.
Yeah, the color's a little different, and she threw some curls in.
Yeah, I mean, this also reminds me of like the one picture of her profile. It's like a modern cut, a little bit of highlights, lowlights in there, and it just reminds me like she's living her best LA life, because this is not like normal Duggar hair.
That's very true.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, good for her.
Taking cues from the style pages.
Yeah, for sure. Next thing we'll know, she'll have like a cut like mine. It's going to be like Miley Cyrus blonde. Speaking of Miley Cyrus, Lollapalooza was just this past weekend, and it made me think of the Duggar question of the week. So let's move on to the Duggar question of the week, which is, so apparently, again, there's all the rules that the Duggars have to follow, but they are sort of persuaded to avoid non-secular music. They like to stick with traditional sort of religious music. So with that being said, if you had to drag a Duggar to a music fest like Lollapalooza, which was just this weekend with Miley Cyrus, or Coachella, there's Stagecoach, which would be like a little more country, there's the Governor's Ball, which one would you take a Duggar to?
Oh my goodness, that's the hardest question.
Or the EDC, electronic dance.
Ooh, you know, that could be fun, because it would be completely different, I think, from... Stagecoach is last for me for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's all the bachelor ties. Like, I don't know.
I would say Stagecoach would be my first guess, because it's country.
Totally. I don't know.
So I feel like they would be like a little bit less of a fish out of water than like.
That's true.
Lollapalooza, based on the photos I saw from this past week, too much
The
for
crowds, yeah.
the crowds,
Limp
Miley
Bizkit.
Cyrus. Yeah, I don't know. Coachella.
Coachella sounds like that sounds good to me for some reason. Being, I guess, in the
Like, yeah,
desert.
like the desert, right?
Yeah, yeah. It
They
feels,
can
I mean,
find
like
like a smaller stage to like
yeah,
listen to folk music. I don't know.
totally. No, the folk music thing, I guess, like Duggar like style can sometimes be construed as a little boho too, I guess,
Right.
with like the long skirts. And so
But that being said, like you said about Jill experimenting with her hair, and we're talking about Ginger's new LA cut, I feel like Ginger and Jill could be spotted at Coachella, and it wouldn't be that surprising.
I think so
Don't they
too.
look like those kind of girls?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jill's little nose ring.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for another fun Counting Duggars episode. I always love chatting with you about it.
Me too.
Like I said before we started, it's a light news week, but sometimes some of these smaller Duggar stories are more fun to talk about than some of the more dramatic.
Absolutely.
Like I could talk about someone getting their hair cut drastically all day, every day. Like
Me
I
too.
love that sort of silly stuff.
Well, that's why fans love it too, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't miss Sophia and I every week, where we will be counting Duggars right here on Us Weekly's YouTube channel.